Okay, mom. Look, I open up my WhatsApp. Look at the first thing I see. You guys, the forwards that my mom sends on WhatsApp every Friday is like this Jumma Mubarak. And then it says a bunch of stuff in Urdu that I can't read. All right.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. We missed y'all.
We missed y'all. Happy Wednesday.
How's everyone doing?
How's everyone doing?
Guys, we actually ate. Okay, we're drinking our giant coffee right now, so it's sinking in, and then we're gonna bras nikalni on this episode. Okay,
look at this mammoth cup. Okay,
look, we love the merch, but we need the mugga.
You know what? We need a big mugga.
We need a big.
We call it mugga daddy.
Yes.
We need a mugga daddy mugga. What's the next one coming? Next one.
Gamla nahi vase. I actually need like an actual vase because sometimes I can't handle it. I need so much coffee.
Okay, I thought you were like,
crazy.
I need a vase for my flowers. I'm like, it looks like you're not allowed.
No. Welcome to the episode. Happy
guys.
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Please subscribe to the channel.
Up.
We're trying to get to mission 20K. We would really appreciate it. Please follow us and give us those 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We would really appreciate it. And follow us on socials. Y'all already know where we are. Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
Guys, I'm also suffering from a bit of a cough. So here and there, if I sound like an old lady.
You have your mugga.
I got my mugga.
Slurpy.
I know. I will. All right. We had a great question. We kind of wanted to give a breakaway from the usual routine that we're getting into with the in-laws and the weddings and the nishta process and all the toxicity in this whole thing. And I thought it would be great for us to also gather here today to understand that we have had a collective experience as a second-generation immigrant. And what was our question of the week?
Our question of the week was, what's your greatest challenge as a child of immigrants?
And I have to say, when y'all gave us the responses, I was reading it. I was like, yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Check.
Yep.
Check. It's just something that everyone's gone through. You know, I was like, we were talking before we even started recording. And we were like, it's like sad. It's so sad because you feel like it's so hard for us to have gone through these things. But it's sad because it's like you can't even acknowledge it because you're almost kind of like your struggle is not even considered a struggle because their struggle was way more than yours.
And you couldn't have said anything about your struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to like keep it in.
Yeah.
And fight as much as you could.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at the end, just take a back seat and be like, all right, this is
just the way it is. Oh,
it is what it is.
I think that's one of my most hated lines.
I know.
It's just the way they are. It's just the way it is.
I don't like that at all. And I feel like, and I know I said we weren't really going to talk about marriage or whatever, but I feel like sometimes when you get into a relationship with someone, okay, or you get married or you have this non-healthy relationship with your in-laws or anybody in your distant family.
Yeah.
I really feel like a lot of people excuse their behavior by saying
that line.
This is just the way that they are.
Oh my God. It's not
take it with a grain of salt.
No.
That line?
That makes me so mad. The take it with a grain of salt.
I won't.
I will not.
I will not.
No.
I'm going to take it like I ate a whole spoon of salt and I'm going to spit
a whole bucket of salt. Yeah, I don't like that. Because everyone is capable of change if they want to change.
Yeah, exactly.
It just means that they don't want to change.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And you can't go out here excusing ridiculous behavior just because that's the way that you have been raised, thinking that behavior is okay. That behavior is not okay.
Yeah, like imagine someone comes up to you and is like, hey, you know what, Uruje, what you did caused me a lot of trauma. Like I have not been able to be the same person for like the last 10 years because of some of the things that you said to me.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, well, take it with a grain of salt.
It is what it is. It's just how I am.
Like, I cannot even I don't think I could ever continue this relationship.
But let's say you are trying to talk to your parents about something. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say you really want to go to the prom. We'll bring it back to the prom scenario.
God damn.
Because we know Hina really wanted to go to that prom.
Not gonna lie, I did. Not gonna lie.
So you're going and you're trying to convince your parents that you need to go to this prom. Like you want to go, your friends are going, you have like your dress picked out, you know what you want to get, it's affordable, you're gonna buy everything on your own, you're gonna buy your ticket, everything. But now, when you go and tell your parents, like, you know, you didn't listen to me and my whole high school life, I felt this way.
Yeah.
And then they turn around, they're like, well, it is what it is. You live under my roof.
Or they'll be like, like, honestly, calm down. Like, you're acting like this is the biggest struggle of your life. I mean, they're not wrong.
I know. But in that moment,
in the moment,
when you are like a 17-year-old Hina, it is the
where
biggest.
It's like my life is school. School is my life.
That's all you know.
Yeah, that's all I know. That's where I have fun because that's where my friends are. All of my friends are going.
Yeah.
And you know the other line that they say? Oh, so if your friend jumps off a cliff, are you going to jump off?
That line? That line.
There's another one.
Tell me.
When they say, you know, our job as parents is to stop you from getting hurt. Okay. So it's like, this is the example they give. If your child puts their hand in a fire, are you going to let them or are you going to stop them? And you're like, the prompt. It's not the fire. You know, these analogies, they get me so bad. Like,
because the analogies are so extreme.
It's
but
like
the situation you're asking for is like trying to
know
for a few hours.
I know.
Moved to Saudi Arabia at the age of 4, and the first time we ever visited Pakistan after moving was 6 or 8 years later. Every time I meet the cousins my age back home, I feel like I don't belong, or they make me feel it that way. They have a problem with everything. They're such snakes. Honestly, it gets very frustrating at times. And then she wrote a bunch of like sentences in Urdu.
I think that's a very valid point.
Yo, we already went through this in the cousin drama.
Some of the cousins be snakes. Oh well.
And
y'all are snakes. Fix up. Fix up.
Aside from them being that, it's the cousin comparison. You moved away to a different country, and now when you come back, they just want to see like, are you different?
But maybe
from the way we are here.
But maybe it's also because they want to be like you.
Yeah.
Like you moved to Canada, you moved to the United States, living the American dream.
Yeah, and they have to try and one-up you when you come back.
Yeah, so I think what they do is they make themselves feel better by bringing you down.
Oh, 100%.
Because for them, it's just like, oh my God, she can't even speak Urdu properly. She can't speak Urdu properly. Your Urdu is so bad. But then you'd be sitting there like, brother, you can't even speak English properly.
You cannot.
Like if we're going to go to that extreme, right? I ain't judging.
But you wanted to say something? We wouldn't even say that to them.
We wouldn't.
We wouldn't say anything to them. We would just be like, yeah, I guess. Like, I guess I can't speak Urdu properly.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect me to. We would just
take it. Yeah.
Or the constant feeling like, listen, when you go back to Pakistan, the fashion there is top tier. Okay?
Top tier.
Every 3 days, there's something new rolling out. Some new designers rolling out some new collection. Okay? When we would go back home, we were so behind on the fashion, girl. We'd be pulling out these tucky shalwar kameez and I'd be thinking, oh my God, my mom just got this sewn for me, right? Lo and behold, it looks like a tablecloth.
You're wearing a choti kameez with a patiala shalwar and they're wearing lambi kameez with like churidar. Like
the embarrassment I would feel.
Like, I guess I have to go to the store now.
Yeah.
Buy brand new clothes.
Oh, and the way they would just make you feel like, oh, you don't even know what's trending. You don't even know what's this. And it's like, sis, over here, we barely even wear the clothes that we have.
Yeah, that's true. Because the truth is, like, a lot of the times we don't wear shalwar kameez unless it's like an event.
And you could probably pull out a suit from 4 or 5 years ago and wear it again today and it's fine.
Yeah, I think over here the thing is like yes, everyone wants to look trendy and stuff, but because it's not Pakistan, we are not first to get the trends.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
However, that was also because like there was no internet at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all, we're that old. Okay, we are that old. We're that old. There was no internet at the time. And then when the internet came, even then it was like a lot of Pakistani designers or like Indian designers were not even online.
No, they weren't.
And like that's very recent.
It's very recent.
Yeah. So yeah, we were a little bit dated, but y'all, the comeback is strong.
The comeback is strong.
The comeback is strong.
And it will remain strong.
It will remain strong. But then we can also say, look, if you think of it that way, right? Then in reverse, Western wear, we would dress better in that
exactly
sense, right?
Because we go through our Western wear like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Trends are changing all the time. Fast fashion is always up.
Or like even streetwear.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's more of a thing I would say in like Western countries.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like it's worldwide, right?
But if you
like,
wear streetwear back home.
Yeah. Like where did this like gangsta come from?
Lalu.
Especially if it's a girl. Watch you walk up there with like your cargo.
Dare. If I wore this in Pakistan, they'll be like, why are you just like a man? लड़कों वाले fashion क्यों कर रहे हो?
But now it's different. Yeah.
And then they look at me and be like, दादे का size क्यों है? Like, why is it extra triple R?
But you know what fashion thing I always hated? I hated this. I hated this when this was trendy. I hate it now.
Yeah.
It's when men wear jeans that are falling off their butts.
Yeah, I know.
And you see their like chaddiyan showing. And you're like, how are you walking? Like, you can't even walk. You're walking like a man duck. Like, and then it's like, you're pulling up your pants and you have a belt on to keep your pant up, but it's obviously not helping.
But your pants are still below your belt.
And they're so low.
They're so
like, that style was disgusting.
It's gross.
Like, ew.
Guys, that's an ick.
To see that.
Stop.
That is so nasty.
Pull your pants
Pull
up.
your pants up.
Oh my God, we sound like our parents.
We do.
That's what my mom would say all the time. Apni pant to upar karo.
Yeah.
She would say that too.
Because it is so like
it is. I know, but when we were growing up, we'd be like, oh, I guess like it's
yeah. But as a girl, you would never pull your.
No,
you never wear your pants here. You're not. That don't fly.
Don't even.
But we did wear like pretty like thuggy clothes.
Yeah, but you know what? You want to know why I got into all that? Because I wasn't allowed to wear fitted clothes.
Sister. The way I agree with this statement.
I was not allowed to wear any fitted clothes, so I ended up dressing, quote unquote, like a tomboy.
Legit.
Which worked out because in the 90s, all of the loose stuff was trendy.
Farm, Rocco wear, baby fat. Like, it was all like.
All the army patterns.
Yeah.
The white denim.
The bandanas.
Oof. Yo, man, I wasn't allowed to have a bandana.
What?
I wanted one so bad, though.
Are you serious?
And I wanted to hook it to like my cargo pants on the side and walk around.
Oh, that's a vibe. I would say you could rock that right now, too.
I mean, I could do it now.
Vibey vibe. Yeah, you should do it. You'd so rock it. Okay. I was not able to go hang out with friends unless it was at school. And as a result, I lost a lot of friends due to that. That's very true. That's very true.
You know, I wasn't really allowed to hang out with my friends outside of school.
Like, I had a lot of friends in high school and like we hung out, but I feel like my curfew was like, if school ended at 3:30, my curfew was 3:45. I'm laughing about it right now, but like,
it is like, I can walk to my friend's house, I gotta walk back home. That's the extent.
You know, the worst part is like when your mom has your friend's mom's phone number, and then it's like, you are so dead.
Yo, my mom had all my friends' mom's phone numbers.
It was so horrible.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was bad.
So the thing is, we moved far away from my high school. Okay, not far away, but like I'll say it's a 10-minute drive. Okay, but we never changed our address because we always wanted to go to the same school because we had the same friends, the same community. We were raised in that whole area, so we stayed there. So I could never hang out with any of my friends after school because I had to drive far away after school.
Yeah.
And like, it was always pick and drop. Like my mom, I don't even know what it's like to walk to and from school.
I used to walk to and from school till I was in college.
Yo, I never did that. That concept to me is so foreign.
No, it's like, that's all I did.
But you want to know what I'm so guilty of now?
What?
I do the same thing with my kids when my kids' school's down the block.
You're like, I'll come and drive and pick you up.
Yeah, I drive and pick them up.
But you know what? Maybe that's also because they're young. Like right now, I would never tell my daughter to walk home.
Yeah. No, but like you walk.
Yeah, but girl, I walked when I was in kindergarten. No, not kindergarten.
Alone?
Grade 1, grade 2. But our school was like literally a 2-minute walk away from our house.
Yeah, but like my kid's school is a 2-minute walk, but like I wouldn't let him walk alone.
No, I think when we were in like grade 2, 3, me and my sisters would walk home together. Yeah, we would. We would. Not even gonna lie. But that's what I was like, now I'm like, you gave me that much trust to walk home. And then middle school was like easily 15-minute walk. Okay.
And you would walk to
and I would walk alone. I'm not even joking. And then high school was like a easy 30-minute walk. And I would walk to and from every time. It was rare.
Stop.
It was rare that my parents would pick me up after school.
So
rare.
These are opposite stories.
Yeah.
Guys, I have never ever walked to and from school ever.
Okay, privileged girl.
The thing is, like, even now I sit back and I'm like, oh, it is such a privilege, like, for my mom to be able to pick and drop us off. But in that moment, I would be like, oh my God, what I would do to walk home.
It was kind of like fun because you know what would happen? At the end of school, like you get to hang out a little later and then you get to hang out with your friends.
That's the
and
thing.
Then one of my really good friends lived like maybe like 7-8 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
So we would always walk home together.
That's the thing. So like I never had that experience.
That was fun.
And like some of my friends would walk home together and then like I would get in the car, I would drive and then I would kind of see them like on the road and I'd just like, man, what I would do just walk home with them.
But you want to know something? I think it really helped with my metabolism too.
Yeah. Sad.
I did a lot of sad. The sad was sadding. Okay?
Yo, half an hour is a good walk.
Girl, it was a long, in the winters.
Yeah.
There were times, okay, anyone that's walked home, they probably know this. There are times when like you're walking home in the winter and it is so bloody cold that your thighs are frozen. Okay, like you can't feel them. They've gone numb. And by the time you get home, you're sitting there in pain because then you get like those prickles. And you're just sitting there like, when will this end? And you're like doing one of these to like warm your thighs up and your toes are crinkling off. Like it was rough.
So whenever I have
rough.
recess duty outside
Yeah.
sometimes, I hate outdoor duty. Oh my God. Every teacher out here who's listening, she knows what I'm saying right now. Outdoor duty is the worst because there's no weather that's the perfect weather to be outside.
That's
literally in Canada, like there is no actual perfect weather.
Yeah, there is.
It's either way too cold or way too hot. Okay. And in the wintertime, God, I'm so guilty of this. I bought a pair of snow pants.
Oh, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And I wear the snow pants outside with the kids.
gotta
I'm
do what you
literally
gotta do.
bundled up and I just look, all you can see is my eyes. Because sometimes it would be like -20, like something.
No,
and
it's crazy.
yeah, but like they really want to send the kids out, even if it's for 15, 20
Yeah.
minutes, like just to get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Girl,
Unki fresher, hamari
Yeah.
like
it is so brutal.
It's
so brutal.
Because the winters here are death. Okay, like they are. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but honestly, I'm not. I'm not being dramatic.
No, they're
Like,
bad.
And the older you get, the worse it gets.
My bones get cold.
Yeah,
Like I'm just, ugh.
like it sucks. But I have to say, like with the friends thing, it's hard because it's not even that like you don't really get the chance to hang out with your friends like after school, right? It's also like sometimes your parents are so strict that like you have friends that have like birthday parties and they have like fun things and you're not even allowed to go.
You're not.
Like they're just like, no, you can't go. No.
And you know what I'm thinking about in this scenario that you just read? How she said she lost her friends because of
Yeah.
it. That makes me sad.
Yeah, because then you feel like, well, they're probably like, well, she's not going to come out anyway, so why would we bother inviting her?
And then they just keep hanging out, and then they'll
they
just
get
stop
super
inviting
close,
you, and then they
yeah.
get super close.
And then you ain't got no friends. That makes me so sad.
That makes me sad because then I feel like, how do you even have that kind of a conversation with your parents to let them know that that's what you're going through?
Honestly, you can't. So I remember there was this one time when I got invited to a birthday party, okay? And like I had to like beg my parents to go. Beg, okay? And they were like, fine, you can go, but you have to be back at like a certain time. So I was like, okay, fine, cool, whatever, right? So like it was me and my friend and we went together. And like her parents were so chill. They were like, do what you want, Ashkaro, okay? Like they were like that. So I was like, okay, like we're gonna go. And so we go. And then like I had this like curfew and I had to come home at a certain time. Okay. So I'm sitting there like tripping out, like, oh my God, I have to be there at a certain time. I have to be there at a certain time, or like my mom and dad are going to get so upset at me. And so I remember like I was like sheer panic. And like after like the birthday party, like the friends were going to go and do other things. And I remember I had to be like, hey, like I need somebody to drop me home because like I can't go out and do anything more.
Yeah.
I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, you feel like a burden on other people. And obviously at that time, like no one drove.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need someone to drop you off. But I remember my friend that was with me, she's like, yeah, I'll come with you. Just because she's like, I don't want you to feel like
She's
stupid.
a real
She's such a real
friend.
one. And then I remember I drove home and I came to my room and like my parents didn't say a single thing to me.
Yeah.
Like they weren't mad or anything. It was just like another day. Okay. And I remember sitting in my room and being so upset and being like, oh my God, like, why is it so hard?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard? Like, why am I never allowed to do anything?
And it's like, why couldn't I just stay out for half an hour more?
Yeah. And why did I have to live in that anxiety
Yeah.
that I was going to get in trouble?
Because you don't even actually have fun at the party.
You don't.
You know, you go out. Okay, this is what happens. You get invited to a birthday party. Okay, you have so much anxiety of like, I have to be back at a certain time.
Yeah, exactly.
You get dressed. You get your friend. You get to this party. Now you're at this party and you're like looking at the time constantly.
And you don't even have phones. We didn't have phones at that time.
Nobody had phones. Guys, there was no phones. Okay. So you can't connect with your parents and your parents cannot connect with you.
Yeah.
So even if you want to, you know, some people are like, oh, well, it's okay. I'll just go to the party. And then when I'm there, I'll be like, yo, I'm going to be half an hour late. And they'll just take the daunt.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that,
We
guys.
couldn't take the daunt.
We didn't have the phones.
And the daunt was too scary. And like, no, there were phones in high school,
Yeah.
but I feel like not everyone had phones.
yeah, and I didn't.
Like, it was where I never did.
Yeah.
Hell
So
no.
it's not like I was going to like text to my mom and be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
by the way, I'm going to stay out half an hour later.
Yeah.
It's not. If that was going to happen, I had to call her and actually convince her to stay, which was not going to happen because the minute I call her, she's showing up at the door.
Yeah. And she'd be like, where are you? Why aren't you home?
Yeah, she would legit
It's
show up.
late now. It's 6 o'clock.
Oh my God. And now you're there. So you're counting up. I swear, in this like 2-hour window of this party, you probably have fun for like 15 minutes.
I'm telling you, that's so accurate because you're like everyone around you is like chill and relaxed because they know they like their parents are chill.
Yeah.
And then you're the one that's there like, oh my God, this is the first time that my parents said yes. So I have to make sure that I'm back on time so that maybe there will be a chance that I'll get to go out again.
Yeah.
Nobody understands this except the people that had very strict, you know, like
Upbringing.
rules and upbringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sucks. It actually sucks.
And then you go home and you're like, was that worth it?
Was it even worth
Because
it?
did I even have a good time?
And you know what? I honestly think like at that time I was just like, I'm just never gonna do this again because like I ruined my own day and then I ruined other people's night as well.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt.
Yeah. And but your parents are chilling.
Yeah. And then when you like talk to your parents, like I remember like I think there was even times when I might have even talked to them, be like, why was it such a big deal? I was so stressed down, da da da. And then they say something like, you just stressed out about the dumbest shit. Like you're like, what? I just had a whole night. I struggled to please you.
It always comes back to, why are you taking on that stress? It's like when you tell them, mom, like what you said to me like really made me depressed, and they're like, why are you depressed though? It's not what I said to you, it's why are you depressed?
It's like, you do this to yourself. Why are you telling me you do this to yourself?
Fix up.
That's the hard part, right? Because you're like, there's no winning.
There's no
No
winning.
one's gonna understand my emotional
There's
malfunctions.
no winning. Fitting in. We started living in an extremely white area, to the point that I was the only colored person in my whole school, and we were the only colored people in that town. At school, kids wouldn't let me play with them just in case if I transferred my skin disease to them, quote unquote, because I was Indian. The only time they let me play is when my teacher held my hand and convinced the class that I wasn't contagious. I hated taking lunch from home because all the kids would complain about how my food smelled. So I wouldn't eat anything all day. It's funny how these are the same people who are now going to all these Indian takeaways and eating chicken tikka masala because their food is so bland.
Oh my God.
That's wild.
That is so messed up. I've just never heard that before.
That's crazy.
Like that someone has a skin disease because they're a different color. Okay, I blame their parents though. Because
yeah.
their parents are the one that taught them that bullshit.
But like an entire class?
Right?
You're saying every single parent of that 20-some class
Oh my God.
ingrained that in their heads?
Right.
That's scary.
That's so messed up. But like as a teacher, I feel like I would be pissed.
I would be, and I feel like maybe the teacher tried to do what she could do.
Yeah.
She's trying to tell them, like, guys, don't do that. Let her play.
Yeah. But there's only so much she can do too. You know what I mean?
Because, honestly, what happens in the schoolyard stays in the schoolyard.
That's so true. I feel
There's
like
only
kids are savages.
Yeah. And teachers miss so much in the schoolyard.
But the fact that she remembered everything and she was saying the details, like the teacher held her hand, shows how badly that affected her.
Oh my God. It makes me sad.
It makes me so sad because now I'm at the point where I'm like, I swear to God, let someone say something. Let someone say something to my kid. Let someone say something to me or like somebody that I know or my parents or someone else's parents in front of me. Like I am waiting for the opportunity.
So you know what? When I was in like primary school, like kindergarten to grade 5, it was a predominantly white school. Okay. My middle school was different, but K to 5, it was like that. And I remember the lunch thing that really struck a chord with me because I did not want to take like lunches to school because I would open my lunch bag up and like, these guys are having your basic bologna on rye, okay, with some mustard or some and some baby carrots.
Nastiness.
Okay? My mom was putting an aloo tikki in a sandwich. She's like
the most.
Dude, she gave me pulao for lunch with some dahi, like raita, the whole shabam. Okay, some achar pyaz, like the whole thing was going down.
You're like, mother, bologna sandwich, please.
Okay, and my mom refused to buy cold cuts.
I hate
like
cold
we
cuts.
are not a cold cut.
We are
meat
not
eating
either.
family.
My dad was like, "This is trash food."
No, my mom would find it gross because my
It
mom
is gross.
and my mom would just feel like she would never trust the halal haram aspect of it.
Yeah, I understand.
She'd be like, I don't know. I know it says it is, but I don't know because it doesn't look like what it's supposed to be looking like.
I think for my parents, it was just like, it's just crap, just mixed together and made into a cold cut. Just eat the real thing. Like eat chicken.
Yeah.
Why do you need a turkey cold cut? Just eat the damn turkey.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I remember like I would open my lunch bag and people would ask like, what are you eating? And I didn't even know how to describe it. I didn't even have the vocabulary as a grade 4 Uruje.
How do you say shami kebab in English? How do you say shami kebab in English, yo? Like somebody tell us.
What do I say? How do you say keema in it? I didn't even know how to say keema for the longest time. Okay. I didn't know it was minced meat. I'd be like, I don't know, keema is keema. Like
Keema.
It's
But how do you say a paratha and like a roti? They didn't even know what roti was at that time.
I couldn't, and at that time they didn't even know about naan.
And then
Let's
we
be
had
real.
we also would Englishify it and be like, it's roti. We're having roti. And meanwhile, you find out later on that like roti is like a thing with like a lot of people. Like a lot of
cultures have it.
Yeah. Like even people from the Caribbean, like they have their roti. And like,
the only thing is because the school that I was at didn't have people from different cultures.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody from the Caribbean. We didn't have anybody literally from anywhere. It was
They
like
were the
either
beans on
Canadian.
toast gang.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well.
And I'd just be like, oh my God, like, I don't even know. And then hot dog day would roll around and all these Koreans are eating their damn hot dogs.
Oh my
and
God,
I'd
I
be
remember
like,
hot dog day.
And the whole cafeteria smelled so bad. And I'm like, you guys are out here making fun of my lunch.
Yeah.
Look at what you guys are eating.
Not gonna lie though, I actually like the smell of hot dogs. I like the smell of hot dogs. I do. I like the smell of hot dogs. Okay.
The smell is the worst part.
You know what? I've had hot dogs before, but like it's just not my thing. But my kids love hot dogs.
Yo, my kids don't go anywhere near it.
Yeah,
but it's because I don't. But
you know what? It's not good food. Like it's not healthy food. It's not healthy food. But I have to say that like that whole thing that girl said about or she said about like, oh, and now they're like all trying all these Indian restaurants. Yo,
are we gonna talk about
the craze of eating desi khana on TikTok and Instagram right now?
Honestly,
if I hear one more person call naan bread, I'm gonna break my phone screen.
Yo, I was watching a video on TikTok.
Yeah,
and it's this guy who goes around New York trying out different restaurants. Okay,
yeah, and
he went and he's like, so these guys pour halal rice in your container. The comments, they're like, what is a halal rice? What's halal rice? And people are out here defending this guy. Oh, it's the broth that it's cooked in.
Stop.
It's made with And I'm like, yo, he just didn't know. He wanted to say the chicken was halal. He ended up saying that the rice was halal.
Let's be real.
Okay?
Let's be real.
There's no such thing as halal rice.
No.
Rice is rice.
Rice is rice.
Okay?
Jawal is jawal.
Jawal is jawal, man.
Jawal or jawal, one of the two. You can't be like halal rice. It's like saying a halal radish. Like it doesn't make sense. Halal lettuce. It's freaking weird.
Halal lettuce.
I just think it's to an extreme. Okay, like you know, like how they want like desis to assimilate to their culture, right? And they're like, go back to your country, and like they say all that stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like you can't even say naan without adding the bread in. You can't even say pilau without being like pilaf. What the hell is this shit? It makes me mad. Golden milk. It's like haldi doodh. Like, come on.
My goodness.
I just hate when they do that stuff. It makes me so mad.
The worst is like when they can't differentiate between different cultural foods. So everything is categorized as one.
Right.
But it's like biryani is different in Hyderabad, which is different in Lahore, which is different in Karachi, which is different in India. It's different in all different regions. But for them, it's just Indian food.
Yeah. I want to also say, like, their version of desi khana is butter chicken. Every single person has got to have a
chicken
bowl
tikka
of butter.
masala.
Chicken tikka masala and butter chicken. Masala. And we have some
paneer saag.
Paneer saag. I was going to say paneer saag.
That's it.
With the garlic naan and raita. And we have some raita here. And it's like, brother, okay? Stop this. If you can say like schnitzel, okay, and you can say all these random things, okay,
For
like
real.
your Italian is rolling out with the names of those pastas, you can fix up and say the desi name the way it's supposed to be said, okay? It's not raita, it's raita.
Raita.
It's not biryani, it's biryani.
Facts.
It's not pilaf, it's pilau.
Get
it right. Get it right. I can't deal with them.
I can't deal with them either.
And then they have like a little spoon of raita. Ooh, that's so spicy. And you're like, there's nothing in there but cucumber, salt and pepper, yo. Like salt and pepper.
Everything is spicy for them.
You know it's bland food when they're saying the raita is spicy.
Facts.
But
like, wait until these guys try like papad. Wait until they try the real stuff. Okay,
like
the ande wala burger. Okay?
Yeah, I need somebody to try bhindi and roti. Like, I need y'all to try that. I need y'all to try like
try a gobi wala paratha.
Sister.
Then
with
we'll
gajar achar.
Yo,
I need y'all to try the gajar achar. Okay,
it's going to change your life.
It's going to change your life. Okay,
it's so good.
And like when they try the mithai and they're like, "Ooh, that's so." These are just like dough balls with like a very syrup, like a syrup on
syrup on it, a sugary syrup.
This is like a syrup. Sandra, this is like a golden syrup.
Karen, you want half? It's too much for me right now.
Like, this is too sweet for me. But can I have some of the samosa? It's the samosa. Okay? Like,
and make sure you have the chutney with it.
The red chutney. It's
a bit spicy though. The thing is mitha, man. The red chutney's never
like
spicy.
A plum sauce. Like, get with it. You know what? I know we would get slandered up and down if we said any of these like
facts.
You know, like escargot. Like, you know how they say like you got to say things properly, but they like annihilate our terms all the time. Okay.
You know what you got to do? You know what? One thing I had growing up is how people like mispronounce my name left, right, and center. It's fine.
Uruje.
Yeah. Like, all of a sudden, I'm from Quebecois. Like, I don't understand. Or did I tell you the worst one was somebody thought I was Spanish, so they thought the J was goddamn silent.
Yuru?
So they're like, Uruje. Uruje?
Like Alejandro.
Yeah, literally. It was like
Uruje.
that. Somebody thought the J was an I. They called me Yuri.
Yeah, I did not have those problems. I think the worst I got was Mariam.
That's
But
nothing.
it was that.
That's light. It's light.
Mine is like, you can, like, Mariam is like Miriam.
Miriam.
And most people called me Miriam.
Yeah.
Like, in school, I was Miriam. I was
Yeah.
not Hina.
Yeah.
But Lord have mercy.
Those struggles. But you know what? And growing up, guys, it took so much. First of all, the embarrassment. I would turn red in the face. I would memorize where my name was on the attendance sheet. So when a supply teacher came in, I'd be like, it's Uruje. Like even before
Uruje.
Yeah, even before they even attempted. Or sometimes they'd be like, last name Sultan, and I'm like, it's Uruje. It's Uruje. But I also noticed that growing now that I'm much older, I make it a point so that somebody knows and corrects the way that they say my name.
It's good. It's good. You should.
Because as a kid, I didn't really do it. I would let it slide a lot.
I think all of us let it slide because that's just what our parents taught us.
Yeah, because they were like, don't ever say anything.
Don't talk back to your elders.
Don't talk back. And it's like, man, I can't even tell my teacher that she's saying my name incorrectly.
Yeah, but it's also authority in general, right? Like your parents go and take you to a doctor when you're young and they're like, tempura. Yeah. Hook her up with some tempura. Yeah. She needs tempura. Okay. Yeah. Antibiotic, everything, right? So you're like popping them antibiotics into your kid, right? Which is fine. But like at some point you have to be like, what if that's not what they need? Like, what if it was something else?
And our parents would take it to the doctors and never question the doctor.
Never question.
And never ask them, like, oh, wait, why are you giving the antibiotic?
Question.
Where is the infection?
Yeah, exactly.
And now, I rolled through a doctor's office and I was like, hold up.
Because you have to ask questions. Like they are also human beings. Mind you, they're educated in that field, but you can still ask a question.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with authority in general, right? Like you see a security guard would come up to your parents, say something, and your parents would be like, yes, whatever you say. Mm-hmm. A policeman, like someone says, what if they pulled you over and you weren't speeding?
Facts.
Our parents would take the damn ticket.
Yeah, that's
what they would do.
They'd be like, okay, sir, do you want some chai?
Yeah.
Invite you over.
Smile on your face. The kids, shut the hell up in the back. Don't you peep. He'll give you another ticket for opening your mouth. Are your seatbelts on?
You ever get threatened in the car as a kid that
all
the police officers
are coming? The police is coming because you won't shut your mouth. Okay, fight again. I'm gonna call the police officer myself. And now you're like, shameful. It's shameful.
But sometimes when my kid pissed me off, I'm like, do I use that line? Do I turn around and be like, yo, I'll call the cops on you right now?
Not gonna lie. There are times when you have to use the scare tactic. You got to use the scare tactic.
All the time,
guys. To the people that are judging us, I feel you. I know it's wrong.
This is a no judgment podcast.
But there are times when your kids test your patience and you're at a point where you're like, nothing is working. I'm gonna call the dinosaur from the closet. T-Rex is in the damn closet and he's gonna eat you right now. Okay, so you better get your ass in bed. Okay,
or you're just like, listen, if you get out of bed one more time, the alarm system is gonna trip and it's gonna beep. And the siren is going to go off and then you're going to come crying like a little baby.
I'm laughing because my daughter used to be so scared of the alarm.
My kids are afraid of the alarm. And the way I use that sometimes. And when it doesn't work, sometimes I play a random alarm on my phone from YouTube and I walk into their room and they get so scared. And then I'll be like, I told you the alarm was going to beep. Why are you out of bed?
Oh my God.
Why are you out of bed?
I love that. Like as a mom, I'm just like, it's all good.
It's all good.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta
do. What you gotta do. Okay. I know I read these little things where people are like, don't scare your kids. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I'm like, I don't want to. But there are times. Limits have been reached, Uruje.
And listen, okay, guys, you have to also instill fear.
Thodi si
honi chahiye. I'm not saying to the point where they're
like shooketh for the rest of their life.
Yeah, or they're like lying and doing things behind your back.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you need to establish a bit of fear so that the respect also comes with it.
Like a little bit of authority is necessary, okay? We can't just pretend. And honestly speaking, I genuinely feel like majority of parents do this. Not trying to justify.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just mat mari vi hamari. Like, what do you want us to do? Right? Like we're sitting there. It's like I've been trying to put this child to bed since 7:30. It is now 9:45.
Oh my goodness!
Okay? At that point, you're using all tactical measures. Seriously. Okay, whatever comes out of that briefcase is being used.
Exactly.
And if it's the T-Rex or if it's the alarm, It's being used.
It's all good.
Used.
You got to do what you got to do.
Can't believe we just told our own secrets. Did our own bestie on this podcast.
Charo. You guys wanted to know what's up. That's what's up.
That's what's up. Self-worth is tied to achievements, imposter syndrome. Nothing less than 100% is good enough. And you must always be stressed and busy, because growing up with that mentality, time shouldn't be wasted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always have to look busy all the time, because if you don't look busy, then you're wasting time.
Why is that me?
That's all of us.
That's all of us.
Like, do you know what a faltu insan I feel like on my sofa? If I turn the TV on, it's like, don't watch TV. TV is a waste of time.
Yeah, or I'm
mind
just
you,
like,
I watch a lot of TV, but
yeah, but then you're just like, okay, half an hour, only half hour.
Yeah.
And then what am I doing next? But also, when you're watching TV, are you also doing something else?
yes, always,
Every
single time.
Like folding laundry.
Yeah.
Like doing something on your laptop.
Always.
Like whatever, cooking. Sometimes I'll have like my laptop on and I'll play a show while I'm doing the bartan or cooking.
I'm telling you, we are the best multitaskers.
Damn, seriously.
It's also because of our parents, but I do feel like, yeah, the bar was so high, girl.
The pressure and the stress to always achieve this standard that honestly wasn't even explicitly said.
But
what was the standard?
But can I also say, was the standard achieved by our parents?
No.
If I'm not to hate, I'm being genuine here. Like, there was a standard for us, and it's because they wanted us to do better than them.
Yeah.
Right? I get that. But the push for us to do better, where it was like, we didn't go to university, you need to go. No matter what. Like, I don't care. I don't care what course you take, you are going to university.
Damn.
Okay? And then it's like the standard of like, you need to like be this specific way at home too. How do you, the pressure's too high.
And I just couldn't like wrap my head around the fact that they always needed to have like the best grades.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it is?
Yeah.
Growing up, I felt like if you brought home anything less than an 85, you were not doing good.
A B was like bullshit.
I know, but in hindsight, it's like a pass is a pass is a pass is a pass.
Yeah.
And if I'm getting an 82, what's wrong with that? That's a really good mark.
Girl, I remember like I used to be so bad at math.
Yeah.
Okay.
Girl, same.
So bad. And like I would struggle day and night. And I think it's just the way that it was taught to me that like I just wasn't good at it at that time.
It doesn't compute in my head either.
It's not like everyone has different ways of learning, right? Yeah. And I feel like my parents wouldn't get mad at me because I wasn't good at it, but it was more just like you feel like you let them down.
Yeah.
Like this immense disappointment where like, oh, well, like my sister's doing so much better. Like, why can't I just, what's going on with me? Like, I just want to be better. Why can't I be?
Yeah.
But mind you, like if I excelled at something else, but I have to say, like, if you excelled at art and you didn't excel at English, it was a fail. You're a fail regardless. You cannot be excelling at art.
I used to do so well in art.
Me too.
I was so good in art.
Me too.
Guys, the way that I would like spend so much time and care in all of my artwork, in the 3D art, in the pastels, in the sketching, in the pointillism. I did so good at art. And I'd come home and I'd show them and it'd be like, oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah. And then you see that artwork in the bin like the next day and you're just like,
I spent 4 hours on this.
No, I think like because for them it was more about like book smart.
Yeah.
It's not about like art because they're like, what are you going to do with art? Mind you, this is the generation where like art will come in handy.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate.
Yes.
Okay, fine. I understand their perspective because you do, if you want to get into a good university, okay, they are going to look at your transcript.
Yeah.
Okay.
Granted.
And depending on your program, if you need a good mark in calculus, you need a good mark in calculus. That's just the reality, or you're not going to get into your program.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
I understand that. I just think that from a younger age, do you think that they should have been putting so much pressure on you as a kid from a younger age, or do you think they should have like let you kind of explore your talents and what you like to do, get you to like school, get those foundations for you, and then maybe pressure you when you're maybe in middle school and high school, trying to get you to think about where you need to be going?
I think like now when I look back, I feel like you had to pick something in like a certain field to make your parents happy.
Yeah, it has to be math or science.
Yeah. And like, I feel like, or like be a teacher. That was a big one too. I feel like now when I look back, I would definitely go the route that you're saying, where I would let my kids explore and see what they're good at.
Yeah.
Right? Because every child has their own strength. So like you see what they're good at and then you pull on that strength.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, I see that you're good at this. So let's like push this way, and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because you know what I also realized growing up when we were all in high school, And then it was like grade 11, 12. And now it's like, you got to pick what you want to do. So many people were like, I got to pick. I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm going to pick it anyway. And then like your guidance counselor would be like, well, sure, you can go this route. And then if you're not okay with it, you can switch. But they didn't realize that like us telling our parents, hey, mom and dad, we're going to university for this. And guess what? Now we're going to switch. So you're potentially going to have to pay for another 4 years or like OSAP for another 4 freaking years.
Yep.
It was like, it was not as easy as they thought. Just switch. You can't just do that.
And guidance counselors were giving the worst advice.
The worst damn advice.
Because I feel like they didn't really understand where we were coming from.
And they don't even know you that well. Like you
They
see them
don't.
like 4 times a year.
Yeah, they don't know
If
you that
even-
well. And all of a sudden they're trying to tell you like, oh, this is not a good field for you. I don't think you're going to do well in this.
Yeah.
And you're like, you barely know my student number.
Yeah.
You don't know my name. And you're going to be out here telling me what I should be doing.
Honestly.
I think when it comes to, but if I'm being honest, in this day and age as well, I will say, I don't know what the parenting style is like right now for kids who are in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have to say that the pressure is still there.
I think so too.
And at such a young age, kids are being asked, what is it that you want to do? At the age of like 16, 17, they don't know.
Yeah, but
nobody knows at that age.
nobody knows. But now, you know what's happening? I feel like a lot of us are growing up and we're like, put your children in everything.
Yeah.
Put them in every extracurricular. Keep
Yeah.
them busy at all times because if they're busy, they're not going to do anything dumb, right? And then it's like, okay, so then you have them like busy, like 5 days a week they're doing this, or like 3 days a week they're doing this, ballet, gymnastics, this and that, whatever, right? So they're booked then. Then it's like you're going to school and you got to do somewhat well in school, but then you're also doing tutoring on the side, right? So it's like sometimes I think about that too, and I'm like, I'm guilty of it. Is it too much for the kids then? Where like they don't get a break to just like decompress? Is it too much for them in that way too? But then you're also like keeping up with the Joneses because you're like, oh my God, like no, my best friend is doing this and like that I'm not doing anything. I'm not allowing my child to explore their options. And I think maybe for us it's just like, well, if they do a bunch of different extracurriculars, then we can find out which one is working for them and which one is going to help them move on in the future.
But the thing is, what their extracurricular is now is not necessarily what's going to be their passion growing up.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that's also something we need to remember, because as parents, we end up feeling we are guilty of this, where you put your kid in an extracurricular, you're spending all this money and time to take them there for like a half an hour, 45-minute class, whatever. And then it's like, if they don't excel at it, if they don't do well in it, or if they decide not to continue with it in the future, you feel like, oh my God, but I just spent so much money putting you in this extracurricular and now you're telling me you don't want to pursue it.
Yeah. It is hard, but I feel like you have to go in with the mentality of like, they aren't going to like it. Like I put my daughter in karate. She freaking hated it. She despised it. Okay. And I'm not going to lie. Like, let's be real, guys. Taking your kids to the extracurriculars is like a sadka bite too.
It's an extracurricular
like,
on its own.
For real. It's like, yo, going to the extracurricular. Just they'll be like, great job. You're doing great. And your child is doing one of these. Like, they're not doing anything, especially when they're young. Okay. So I took her to karate. She hated it. And then I was like, no. You're not going to stop because I've paid for it. So like, we're going to keep going. And then she kept going. I think she did it like 2 sessions she did, and she despised it. And then after a while, I was like, this girl hates it. Yeah. Like, why am I doing this to her? Forget it, get her out. Right. Yeah. But then I found that she enjoys other things. Yeah. So I was like, okay, if this is something she enjoys and I felt like I see that potential in her, then I was like, okay, we'll pursue this. And I used to be very like, she needs to be an extracurricular every single day. Like I used to be like that, but then I stopped, and now I'm like, okay, I see that you like this one and this one, so let's try this out and see where it goes. But man, it's hard because they're so damn expensive too. It's not like it's freaking
so expensive.
Sasta mall. Like,
koi sasta mall nahi hai for a half an hour class. Right? Jeez.
But can I be honest? You want to know what one of the most useless classes I thought was? Putting your kids in swimming when they're like a baby, infant. Guilty.
I didn't put my kids in as a baby.
I have videos, and my child is in the.
And they're just like splattering around.
Not even, she was crying the whole time. She's not even using her hands. She's just sitting there like this.
What?
I swear to God, the whole time. So I was like, I took my kid,
I took Ibrahim to that giggly panda spa.
Oh,
that was
so
cute.
Cool.
That was super
Is that the
cool.
one where they put like,
yeah.
So
he was like so little, and they put this little like inflatable thing around him, and he's just like paddling around. But okay, let me tell you what it is with my kids, okay? Aage piche, they love water.
Yeah.
Okay. They love being in the bath, splashing, this, that, whatever. When I put him in that, he was like this.
You know what? It's because it's different.
Yeah. And he's just looking around.
Oh
like,
my
and I
God.
have this video of him, and he looks so cute, but he's just like this. And I was like, yo, can you kick your feet, fam? Kick your feet. Do something for me. Do something cute for the video. Mommy, look at mommy. Look at mommy do something for.
Get me out of here, mommy.
Yeah,
Get
he's
me-
literally that's his face. When I watch it, I laugh now because I think it's so funny. But yeah, I end up, man, you just get roped into so much stuff.
But it's also because like we want them to have the experiences that we didn't have.
Yeah, I know.
It's so much of that.
Did you have the experience of like your family constantly saying like doctor, lawyer, engineer?
I don't think my mom and dad ever said you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer. They never said that.
Yeah.
But they were more just like pick a course that is like, or pick something that's like a respectable career.
Yeah.
Like a teacher. They were really on the teacher wagon. None of us became teachers. not even one. They were really on that. And like, I think maybe it was a little bit more with my brother where they were like either like pursue business or go into something else, right? That's like, he's an engineer. So like, I feel like it was always something like respectable.
Yeah.
Like, do something respectable. Don't be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go be like an artist.
Yeah.
Like if I said that, they'd be like, hell no, you're not.
They'd be like, yeah, in the four walls of your own bedroom. That's where you can be Van Gogh. But you ain't taking that outside this house.
But it wasn't like that. How about you? How was it for you?
We didn't have the doctor, lawyer, engineer like pressure.
Yeah.
And can I be completely honest? I think it's because my parents had two daughters first.
Oh.
I think if I have a prediction that if my sister and I had a brother older than us, then he would have the pressure to be doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yeah.
And then we would be like, oh, let's see what he does. And then I think we would have had the similar pressure of like becoming a teacher because it's respectable for a girl.
Yeah.
And my parents would constantly talk about how it's a career where it's like you can have a job even after you're married.
Yeah.
It's respectable, but you can still take care of your home.
Yeah.
You're still home for that in the evening. You're not working till 5, 6 p.m.
And then-
You're home at like 3 with your kids.
Yeah.
And you can also, घर संभाल भी सकती हो
Yeah.
and बाहर काम भी कर सकती
Yeah.
हो.
And you get your summer breaks off.
And you get your summer
they
break
would always
off.
say that.
Yeah.
Like, my parents would say that.
And they'd be like, oh, when you do have kids, then you get the whole summer off with them. And that would be like that would be the gold medal of this
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
That's how they always portrayed it to us.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have a lot of pressure when it comes to that. But here and there, my mom would always be like, oh my God, it would have been so cool if like one of you guys were a doctor.
Oh.
She'd say it.
It's not that it wouldn't have been cool.
I mean, it would have been cool, but like
I would have loved to have a
fam,
friend that was
you
a doctor.
need this for that.
No, but you got that. It's just like sometimes you just don't want to pursue because that's not your passion.
But also like I'm not good at math and science.
yeah, same.
That's
same,
the thing.
Same,
Like
same.
I can theorize and I can do literature reviews and I can write and read a lot of things, but I can't retain information when it comes to things that would be important in a medical field.
I think for me, it's like a lot of that stuff would ick me out. Like I cannot be like, okay, open wound. I'd be like, you're opening my wound. I'm gonna fall down too. Like I don't think I can see those things.
Yeah.
And it's also more like I'm just more of like a creative. I've always been that way.
Yeah.
I'm okay with English and stuff, but like when it comes to math, like the numbers just like they're flying over my head.
Numbers ain't numbering.
2 + 2 is 12. Like it's just it is what it is. It is what it is.
Unless you want to count how many cups of chai Hina has every day.
Yeah, that's true. But it's so sad because like my dad is like a math whiz. He was like a math whiz. And he's so good at it. And I remember just being like, skipped a generation,
And
bad
but you know
genetics.
what I do have to say, and now I feel like I can set that example in my family. It's like just because you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer doesn't mean you can't be educated.
Yeah.
And this is the problem that our generation faced with our parents is that they only thought that those were the respectable careers. They didn't see that you could get your master's in something else or your bachelor's in something else and still have a great career.
But I also want to say that like I know there's like a lot of pressure on the whole school part, which I think is really important. But there's a lot of people that I know that like they didn't pursue post-secondary and they started their own businesses and they're so damn successful.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people don't have the school mind.
They don't.
Some people don't. And I have to say that like like the people that have the business mindset, like that's insane because like you can skill that till the day you die.
Yeah.
Like that is like you're building an empire.
Yeah.
And I respect that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I respect that a lot because it takes another type of skill to like have that business.
You want to know something though?
Yeah.
Growing up, like when you're going through the rishta process, when you're looking for a guy and you're like, oh, he has a business, like 20-year-old me would be like, yeah, but he didn't go to school.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right? Because it was so ingrained in us.
Yeah.
And now 30-year-old me is kind of like, forget that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
because your business is
can't do
you're rolling in dough right now. Let's go. right? But growing up, that wasn't the
because
thinking.
I think it's like the respected position is the career.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the business.
Yeah.
But you realize with time that like, I think people think that like if you're a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer, then you have the book smarts, right? Which you do. But like, how do you know that the business person doesn't have the book smart? Because like, the book smart doesn't just come from school. Like there's many people that are business minded that read a ton of books. They're so intelligent. They're such good people, like people. Like they can have great like social skills. And they're super confident and they put themselves out there and they're great at just like scaling things. And I'm like, I would rather be that type of a person.
Yeah.
Like if I really think about it, I would rather be that.
You want to have versatility in your knowledge.
Exactly.
You don't want to be stuck in just being able to have to read something to be able to have a conversation with someone about it.
Yeah. And I also feel like maybe this is me being like a crazy person. Okay. But this is my thought sometimes. Okay. I've worked the 9-to-5 hustle. It's not fun. It's not. And I think sometimes like when I think of it, this is just my own mindset, right? Sometimes you feel like you're in a hamster wheel. Okay.
Sometimes.
Where it's like all the time. Okay. All the time. I just don't want to depress the people that are working.
My bad.
All the time. You feel like you're in this constant hamster wheel. Okay. And it's like, you're trying to strive to be like, oh, I need the promotion. Oh my God, yes, finally I get like my 2 days off in the week, blah, 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 right? But then internally you're like, yo, I am so like, they will let go of me like this. The going gets tough.
Girl, you are so replaceable.
You're so replaceable. There's a million people just like you lined up to get into that position. And that's why I feel like it doesn't bring me as much joy as like having something for myself.
I agree.
Like it just doesn't. I feel like it drains my soul.
Yeah.
To be like, oh my God, like now I have to like work under somebody, which you have to sometimes. Okay. We've all done it. You have to. But like, I just feel like the adrenaline boost that you get from starting something on your own, it's like no other.
I know. I agree.
It's not that the work is less. The work is exponentially more.
Yeah.
But it's just different.
And just with the whole 9-to-5 thing, yes, if you need to do it, do it. Yes, if you find joy in it, oh my God, I'm so happy for you,
exactly.
right?
People do.
And when I first started my teaching career, girl, I found so much joy in it.
I love that.
I really, really loved it. But I also know that the minute I went on my mat leaves, like you're forgotten.
But that's the thing, right? Like life changes.
Things came my way. I went on back to back mat leaves, and all of a sudden it was like I felt very you're replaced immediately because they need to have a body in the room.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
The kids forget, the parents forget, the principals forget, your friends, teaching staff friends, they all forget. And then you're sitting there like, I need to do something for me. I did all of that for everyone else. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I really felt like I did so much for all the kids in my classroom, for all of their parents, for the community, for the greater good of that staff.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I left and it was all forgotten.
Yeah.
And they just found somebody else who may not have cared as much as I did.
Yeah.
They just came when the bell rang and left when the bell rang, right?
They just like did their
8 to 3, whatever, and they left. They didn't put in the hard work that I did.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I sat during my mat leave and I had one of those like really depressing nights and I was like, I need to do something for me. And I think when you start changing your mindset to want to do something for yourself, whether you start off really small and then it grows exponentially, which I hope it does to whoever decides to do this, you will feel 10 times better.
I think so too. You know, and I also think that there's a lot of patience involved in it too, which we all suck at patience.
We do. You want to
be patient.
Yeah.
I don't want to be patient.
You want that instant gratification.
But you know, that touches on another thing that people were talking about in our answers where they said that I did everything for my parents. Everything I did was to please them. And in the process of me pleasing them, I was not able to do the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah, because you lose yourself.
You do. But then you do reach a point. I think everyone will eventually reach a point in their life where they're like, wait a second, I completely forgot about me. Like, what about all the things I wanted to do? And sometimes when you like reach that point, like it's kind of like you're at the fork in the road.
Yeah.
Do you continue on the path or do you say, no, I pick me? Like, they're not going to be happy with me regardless. I pick me. I'm going my way. Like sometimes you have to do things like that.
And unfortunately, what ends up happening is if you pick the path where you're going to continue to please them, your next step is going to be that you're going to get married.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get married. And now you and your spouse are going to have this expectation to please your parents because that's what you've done your whole life.
Oh God, why am I feeling so down right now? Like,
And this is such a reality. And then it comes with all the scenarios that we've talked about in the past, with all these things about always having to please your in-laws and you feel like you're never enough. When that's also something that you can impose on your spouse because you always felt like you were constantly pleasing your own parents and you were never enough for them. And then you bring a third person in the picture and you're both going to feel that way.
or maybe it'll be that you'll use the same people pleasing qualities to now please your spouse. So it'll always be about like, oh, how do I make him happy? What can I do to make him happy? And maybe your cup is not being full because you're just so used to being a people pleaser. I think at some point you just have to be like, hey, I am going to disappoint people.
Yeah.
And I guess that's okay. Because the truth is, like, look, if you really think about it, like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, you know, I'm sure that the people around me would have loved if I became a neurosurgeon. I'm sure they would have been like geet gawing me till the day I die. Okay. Like, Hina, neurosurgeon, this is my neurosurgeon.
Dr. Mirza.
Yeah. Right. Like they would have been so happy.
Yeah.
But then I think I would have been really unhappy because it's not something I would have liked. And I say that because I don't want to, I can't even watch like Grey's Anatomy, girl.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't watch that stuff. Yeah. I think like you'll realize when you go down that route that even when you're doing things that you think are going to please your parents, a lot of the times they just up the ante and they're like, well, I need you to do this for me too, to make me feel happy.
Because the bar keeps getting higher and higher.
It doesn't stop, guys.
It doesn't stop. It's like, okay, I need you to do really well in school.
Yeah.
You do really well in school. Okay, I need you to get into a good university.
Yeah.
You got into a good university. Okay, I need you to become an engineer. Bro, you got in the engineering program.
I got the rank.
Mubarako, okay? Your convocation happened, you walked across that stage. Okay, I need you to get a good job. All right, here you go. Now you got a great job. You're working at Tesla.
It never ends.
Okay, now what? Okay, beta, we need a house. So what, you're gonna go get them a house? Fine, you get them a house. Then, beta, can we get a new car?
Oh.
All right, you get them a new car.
I
Now
just-
you're like 28. And all you're doing is fulfilling all of these things, all of that for your parents, which, okay, I'm going to backtrack for a second. Your parents are also deserving of all of these things.
Yes.
They have sacrificed everything for you. I totally understand that perspective too. I just think it should come hand in hand with you also finding yourself. Don't get lost in that tornado.
Yeah. And I also think like you're not here to like live out their dreams and their life. As much as like I know they want certain things for you and like sometimes it is for like a good purpose, right? I don't think that their intention is bad. But I think that like you're not living all of the unfulfilled things that they didn't do. You're not living for that purpose. You have to find your own path. And that's ultimately what's going to help you be the best version of yourself. The more you're there with them being like, yes, mom, yes, mom, yes, mom, yes, dad, it's just going to lead to like more chaos in your life because you're not even showing up as yourself. You're showing up as what somebody else wants you to be.
And so let me bring this back to like the immigrant parents.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like they were not able to achieve the quote unquote American dream?
Yeah.
Okay. And they came here and they struggled, which they did. Okay. And they some ended up being really successful and some ended up just, having like a normal, average, mediocre jobs. Okay. But they put all that pressure on you so that they can vicariously achieve the American dream through you.
I think it's that, but I also think that like some of it is also because they want other people to see like what a great job that they did as parents, you know? Because I think if there's one thing all of our parents can't handle, it's the people saying things. I think that tears them down more than anything. Like more than anything. But sometimes I feel like maybe you should disappoint more. You should disappoint people more because I feel like the more people are used to your disappointment, the less expectations they have of you. And then the better you can do and you live your life authentically.
Because when your parents go out and they're like, people come and ask them, oh, what does your daughter do?
Yeah.
And then they want to be able to say that my daughter is a neurosurgeon. They
do.
Say that,
they do.
Right? But do you think that they feel shame if they're like, oh, my daughter's just
a makeup artist?
Yeah.
I think for them, it's like, you could have been more. Like, there could have been more, but you have so much potential.
Yeah, but what if you're the kind of makeup artist that's like raking it in? That doesn't matter then.
It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah. Because you don't have a capital C career.
Yeah, I still think that for them, that's not considered like a great position.
Yeah.
But I also think I have to say, I think it's different for women versus men. And I think for women, it's not about the career. It's more about like, where's the ring? If you have the ring, jo karna karo. You want to be a makeup artist, go be a makeup artist.
I know. But it's also about the person who put the ring on, what's his status?
Yeah,
that's the pressure with
one.
girls.
Yeah.
Like, what does he do? Where did he go to school?
Yeah.
Where is he working? What car does he drive? Do they have their own place? There's different types of pressure. Whereas I feel like for boys and for men, they have to have this amazing career that their parents aren't quote unquote embarrassed of and can show off कि मेरा बेटा तो ये करता है.
Yeah, with the boys, the pressure is different too.
The pressure is different.
But I also feel like the boys have a very hard time disappointing the parents too.
Because
for them, it's like their job from birth has been caretakers of the parents.
Yeah.
It's a hard job.
It's a hard job.
Listen, I think both of us are like, you have to take care of your parents. They raised you up. We're all the same mentality in that sense, like both of us. But I think that falls hard on a man because I feel like as a man, you have this really heavy role to fulfill, right? Not because your parents are a burden, but just because how do you live and be your own person and be married to someone else and then also have to take care of in-laws or your parents when you know that like even you have a hard time with your parents. How is someone else gonna, you know? I think the burden, it's just pressures and different things that all come into play and it just gets hard for both roles.
Yeah.
But I don't think career is big for a girl, but it's not as big as the wedding ring.
It's not.
Because I feel like if there was a girl that did not have the career, but she got married to like a successful guy, solid. The parents would not give a. They wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care. What does your daughter do? It doesn't matter. She married a neurosurgeon.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why when they're looking for this, they always say like, he's a doctor. Do not say no.
It doesn't matter what his past is. It doesn't matter how short he is. Yeah. It doesn't matter what he looked like. It doesn't matter where he went to school. It doesn't matter if he went to the Caribbean to become a doctor. None of that matters. If it's doctor, it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think it's sad, but like that's the sad reality of like the Desi community. But that's my point when I say that like if there are more people that break that and actually like be like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to pursue something I'm passionate about, which you'll probably do way better at, right? Be more successful because you have a passion for it. I think it just, if anything, like your parents learn from that, right? And you also learn more about yourself. And then that goes to helping you when you have children, that you're not going to pass those pressures onto your kids and be unrealistic and be like, hey, you know what? I need you to be a doctor now.
And I think the sad reality is, though, even if you break that, as a girl, I'm talking about the girl in the Desi community, even if you break that and you end up achieving such amazing things in your life, it won't matter if the ring is not on your finger.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate reality that I don't know if it's going to go away right away.
I don't think we're not in that time where it'll go away right away.
We're not in that time yet.
Like, I even feel like a lot of girls from our generation have the same thought process.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, I want my daughter to be a doctor.
Yeah.
When she grows up, she's going to be a doctor.
Yeah. And I want her to get married.
Yeah.
The marriage thing is like a big level of achievement that you need to unlock as a girl.
Yeah, because when you have a girl, right, you're always like, why aren't you listening? You need to listen to what I say. Or like even to your kids, you're like, you need to listen or like you need to obey or blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you think about that and you're just like, okay, so basically I just want her to be a people pleaser all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I think about that sometimes and I'm like, she can't like, and then you have to check yourself because you're like, it's not okay for me to like, if she is like acting out about something, it's not okay for me to just be like, stop acting this way because I don't want to get embarrassed in public. Sometimes you have to let them. Let yourself experience it. It's hard. You're like, I don't want to get my bestie done today. Someone's going to tag me on TikTok on Bramley Road. Like, look at this crazy mom.
On Bramley Road.
She has no control over her kids. The nyane. Like, losing control. And go viral on freaking Bramley Road.
All right, y'all. We hope we, we sent some chills down your spine.
Yeah, you know what? There's so many that we had to go. Guys, there was pages and pages and pages. We were scrolling for so long. We appreciate you so much for taking the time out to respond to those questions. And we always do like part 2, part whatever. So we're going to continue this on. But thank you so much for submitting all that stuff. And we really appreciate it. And as usual, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TikTok, IG. Everything is listed below. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.